Welcome, I'm Jon Caldara, president of the Independence Institute and your devil's advocate. Later on, we're going to talk a little editorial cartooning, but first, the man that has represented me in court today in his leisure wear, David Lane, attorney extraordinaire. David, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me in my leisure wear.
Thank you. All right, so you represented the Independence Institute, oh my God, it must have been 6 years back, when a law was passed through the legislature saying that we couldn't gather signatures for something we wanted to get on the ballot and pay petitioners by the signature.
Correct.
Which sounded very nice, but really what it was a way to make it so that guys like me could never get anything on the ballot. If you're a millionaire, if you're in industry, if you're the Denver Chamber of Commerce, you can write big checks. Guys like me can't. With a little bit of help from you, but mostly from me, we were able to overturn that law in federal court. So,
despite you, yes, we did get that law overturned.
Why is the state legislature constantly at odds with this First Amendment right to petition? It seems odd.
You know, direct democracy is enshrined in the Colorado Constitution, and that means the people can do things like legalize marijuana if the people want to legalize marijuana. Elected politicians believe that their turf is being invaded, that their toes are being stepped on. We live in a representative democracy, not in a direct democracy. And if we're going to live in a representative democracy, then representatives should make the law, not the people.
There's also something that occasionally the people put restrictions on the people in power. We've got term limits, we've got the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, we have open records laws and open meetings laws and ethics laws, none of which they would have ever placed on themselves. We have done that. And no industry would have put them on that as well, because industry likes their friends in office once they've built that friendship.
Absolutely.
Am I off on that?
No, you're absolutely correct. That's why money corrupts politics. People in corporate America give big dollars to representatives. They can't bribe the people. You know, in direct democracy, a corporation cannot go out there and give everybody $10 if they just vote their way. Oh. But they can give politicians money. It has to get on the ballot.
Let's bring it to this year. So this year, I'm trying to get something on the ballot called Fix Our Damn Roads. And I'm in the usual situation. Everybody else who's putting something on the ballot is spending millions of dollars. And here I'm scraping my 3/4 together trying to get something on the ballot. And lo and behold, some of our petitioner gatherers are having a hard time. Let me tell you the case in point, and then you elaborate. Up in Greeley, there was the Greeley stampede. This is a big event, and petition gatherers like to go, surprisingly, where the people are. And our guys were told they needed to leave. They needed to leave even though they were on public sidewalks. They were kicked off, and then later, after we made a fuss, accommodations were made. And those accommodations were that our petition gatherers could be there if they were in a pen, like a bunch of steer, Greeley steer. So if you wanted to exercise your First Amendment right to petition, you had to go talk to the guys over there in the cage to do so. Now, from the Stampede's point of view, they said, hey, we rented this facility, and that means the sidewalks too. And as one said, I'm the mayor of this town, and you're getting kicked out. So you were the first guy I called. What do you see with this?
Well, what I see is a disturbing trend among government leaders nationwide. The concept of free speech is lost on most elected politicians. The U.S. Supreme Court has said parks, streets, and sidewalks are traditional public fora for free speech. They belong to the people. And you guys were on a public sidewalk. That is a free speech zone in the United States of America. You know, relegating you to a caged-off area doesn't fly any better with Fix Our Damned Roads than saying to Martin Luther King, no, you really can't march from Selma to Birmingham because, you know, but you can have your demonstration in a cotton field in, you know, rural Alabama. We'll let you do that, okay? And it's a caged-off area. That's not what America's about. And it's constantly a source of surprise to me that these elected politicians and police officials never quite understand the concept of free speech.
Now, if done right, the petition gatherers should be able to say, fine, call the police. and the police should come. And in my world, they go, and this guy's saying, I want this guy off the sidewalk. The petition gatherer says, I'm on the sidewalk. It's from the First Amendment. At which point, I expect the cop to turn to the guy and say, he's on the sidewalk. You know, unless he takes a swing at you, there's nothing you can do, and go about your business. But the cops don't always do that.
Oh,
is it that they don't understand it? Are they ignorant of it, or do they understand it?
No, I think it's a system whereby in 2018 America, the police spent far more time on the shooting range than in the law library.
You cannot spend enough time on the shooting range. You and I will disagree on this one.
Well, they have Second Amendment rights to do exactly that. And they also need to learn that there are more amendments to the Constitution than even the second one. Like, the First Amendment is number one for a reason, John. You know,
yeah,
and cops need to learn that. And I
the Second
spend
Amendment,
all day.
We're number two. We try harder.
Undoubtedly, I think the NRA would agree with that. They never stop trying. But no, I mean, the First Amendment is lost on a lot of cops. They just, and I'll tell you something else. Body cameras are my favorite things when these police officers, because they constantly catch the cops in the act of being themselves. And all I need generally is body cam, video, or when somebody. And now everybody in this society is being trained. Whip out your cell phone and video every interaction you have with the police. Then call me and send me the videos, and we'll end up in federal court.
Over what?
Over a denial of First Amendment free speech. We just got called yesterday by a woman who was circulating a petition. And she got run off the Jefferson County government area. She was gathering petitions. I mean, it's on a public sidewalk outside the Jefferson County courthouse. A county commissioner didn't like it because they were trying to recall her, so she had the cops shoo them away. We'll see you in federal court. Thank you very much. You know, you want to keep violating the First Amendment, you'll keep seeing us in federal court. And they apparently have an endless appetite for going to federal court and getting their asses kicked.
Now, usually I shouldn't talk about a case in which I'm a plaintiff, but you'll be representing me. I've asked you to go up to Greeley and say, this doesn't stand. And part of the reason I did that, to be really clear, is I needed to send a message to all the other cities that are going out right now, and people are out there petitioning, and there's a decline to sign campaign. I want to talk about that in a second. But I want them to know, if your city cops say you need to move, that there's going to be a legal action, and I don't see how you win. Do you see any way that the city of Greeley and the Stampede win when it comes to this sidewalk?
No.
Even though they say we've rented this area, the arena, that also must include the sidewalks that come in.
Well, as I said, the U.S. Supreme Court has labeled sidewalks a traditional public forum for free speech. So absent some signage somewhere saying, hey, no, you can't do this on a public sidewalk, you can do it on a public sidewalk. Greeley would need to show me somehow that you guys were on notice that there was no public access to that sidewalk, which doesn't exist, and that the sidewalk was somehow now private property. I mean, it just doesn't happen.
I've also taken a look into the lease, and the lease does not include the sidewalk.
Of course not.
Yeah, it doesn't include the sidewalk. Let me talk a little bit about this decline to sign campaign we've been seeing pop up. There's been radio ads, and people should be careful about whatever they sign. Mm-hmm. Let me be the first to say there are a lot of petitions out there. It's worth reading it, not taking the word of the guy who says, hey,
sure,
this will cure cancer, it won't cost you anything, because he just wants you to sign. Mm-hmm. That's what they do.
Right.
They should read it. But there's this push of saying, no, don't sign anything. Decline to sign, even that there are blockers out there who will show up with their sign saying, don't sign, and chant, don't sign. Mm-hmm. Is that as bad? Is that the same?
Well, it's very interesting because I've seen the videos on this. The anti-fracking groups, the environmentalists, are circulating petitions to keep fracking away from schools and homes. The oil industry has been paying young guys and gals in their 20s, early 20s, to go be the don't sign the petition people. And they admitted on video. They said, yeah, we're being paid by the oil industry to be here and tell people, don't sign, you're going to destroy the economy of Colorado. You're eliminating Colorado jobs. And you've just hit the nail on the head. It's First Amendment versus First Amendment. That's what the framers envisioned. You want people to sign your petition, fix the damn roads. You're going to possibly put up with people standing next to you saying, don't fix the damn roads. That's life in the big city. That's the marketplace of ideas. You put out an idea, somebody else puts out a contra idea, the public decides which idea they like best. That is what the First Amendment's all about.
I couldn't agree with you more, and I'm fine with that. I will take exception, however, to a scare campaign that says, don't sign these things because these creepy petition gatherers are bad people, and they're going to steal your identity by doing this. Now,
it's kind of like, don't allow illegal immigration because they're going to fraudulently vote. There is so much garbage. I would not use, I can't say the word even though we're on cable. Nonsense. They'll just leave. There's so much nonsense put out, you know, that is untruthful.
Well, when it comes to that, all the information you're putting down on that form is already public information. So anybody who wants all that information just goes to the Secretary of State and gets it for free.
Your name and your address. That's what you're putting down.
Yeah.
Okay, so, you know, if you don't want people to know your name and your address, don't sign a petition. All right.
But if you're already a voter,
I know.
That's there.
People are idiots. People are idiots, and if they're going to swallow that, don't sign a petition because these people will then have your name and address.
They already have your name and address.
Okay, well then you need to have the anti-frackers out there, or whoever the fix my damn road people, giving the counter message like, no, they already have your name and address. I could just see it. It's like, fix the damn roads. No, don't fix the damn roads. They want your name and address. They already have your name and address. So you're going to have a whole crowd out there, you know, giving the information to the people.
This is the chaos you want. This is the world you want to live in, huh?
It's the marketplace of ideas.
We want a nice, civilized little world where everybody
puts out their ideas, and then the public decides which ideas they like best with constitutional limitations. If the public likes slavery as the best idea, the U.S. Supreme Court is there to say, sorry, I don't care what the public wants. The public doesn't always get what they want.
What is the most egregious thing you've seen as far as policy to stop the initiative process?
Well, this recently passed, referendum in Colorado where you have to have a proportional number of signatures from every county in the state to get anything on the ballot. Hickenlooper pushed that along with every other elected politician. And they do it under the guise of, oh, well, you know, all you got to do if you want something put on the ballot statewide is show up at a few Bronco games and you've got thousands of signatures immediately. But that doesn't represent the people in Conejos County or Crowley County who never get a chance to decide whether or not they want something on the statewide ballot. You know, it's just nonsense. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's politicians.
Would you talk this way in the courtroom? I don't think you would.
No, I would use other words in the courtroom, you know.
Hey,
so
I deserve that kind of respect. All right, I'll put it this way. This year, I believe at least one, maybe two of those constitutional amendments that require signatures gathered in each of the 35 Senate districts will get on the ballot. One will be from the schools, because they've got schools in all those districts and a workforce to do it. Other one will pay a fair amount of money to get it on, more power to them, but I will never be able to do it again.
Only the rich and powerful can get things on the ballot. And that's, from a politician's perspective, that's exactly what they want, because the fewer things that are on the ballot, the better they like it. I mean, you know.
Would you agree that there should be some sort of higher hurdle to change the Constitution versus statutory changes?
Well, this is not a statutory change. The people of Colorado voted for this change in the last election.
But I'm talking about a policy. It also raises it to 55% to change the Constitution. You need to get 55% or better to change the Constitution.
You know, that's a matter. That's simply a policy issue for everybody to make a decision on. You know, majority rule.
For you, it's ballot access. That's the
ballot access. I mean, the Constitution of Colorado needs to be respected. And the Constitution of Colorado says you can put stuff on the statewide ballot if you get enough signatures. Okay, and that's what it says. I talk about this as the Second Amendment, for example. The Second Amendment, a lot of people might say it's not a good idea. but it's the law. Okay? The law needs to be respected. Whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, the law needs to be respected. And
you hippie freak. You go back to the 60s, you pot smoker.
I'm saying I've taken Second Amendment cases for that reason. I'm not a big
That's
fan
funny,
of the
'cause
Second Amendment.
I got a couple for you. All right, I got to run. Last question. Do we win in Greeley?
Oh yeah, yeah, you're going to win in Greeley.
All right.
Yeah, good deal.
I'm going to be able to buy a Mercedes with it?
Well, you know, talk to the town mothers and fathers in Greeley to see how much money they're willing to give you.
I'll do that.
Yes.
David, thank you.
Thank you, John.
Stay tuned.